Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
On August 5th, 2025, the Himalayan village of Darali was having a normal, peaceful afternoon. This village is in the beautiful state of Uttarakhand in India. The air was warm. Tourists walked through the busy market, and local people worked in their shops and hotels. It was a typical day for the popular mountain town. No one knew that a terrible disaster was about to happen. At around 1:45 p.m., a deep, rumbling sound came from the high mountains above. The sound grew louder and louder. People stopped what they were doing and looked up, confused and worried. Then they saw it. A huge, dark wall of water, mud, and debris was moving down the mountain valley. It was coming towards them very fast. This was a flash flood, created by a sudden, intense cloudburst. The wall of water was incredibly powerful. It carried with it large rocks, uprooted trees, and parts of buildings from higher up. It hit the village with tremendous force. The first line of hotels and homes near the river were destroyed in seconds. They broke apart like they were made of paper. The floodwater instantly filled the streets. It washed away cars, market stalls, and everything in its path. People screamed and ran for their lives, trying to get to higher ground. There was no time to prepare. The chaos was total. The happy sounds of a busy town were replaced by the roar of the flood. In just a few minutes, a large part of Darali was gone. The village was now a landscape of mud and destruction. This single event changed the community forever. It was a shocking and powerful reminder of nature's great force. 2. A normal day ends. Darali was a beautiful village high in the Himalayan mountains. It was a famous place, and many tourists came to visit every year. They came to see the amazing mountains and to get away from the hot cities. For these visitors, Darali was a perfect place to rest and enjoy nature. The village was also an important stop for people on long treks or religious journeys. Life in Darali was busy and full of people. The main market was the heart of the village. Shopkeepers sold fresh food, warm clothes, and equipment for walking in the mountains. The streets were often filled with tourists and local people talking and laughing. There were more than 10 hotels and many small guest houses. Local families owned these places. They worked hard to make visitors feel welcome. For many people in Darali, tourism was their job and their way of life. It helped them to support their families. August 5th, 2025, started like any other day in the busy season. The sun was shining, and the market was open. It was a special day for the local people because there was a religious festival. In the afternoon, many villagers went to the temple to pray and celebrate together. Children played nearby, and families talked. It was a happy and peaceful time. No one knew that something terrible was about to happen. There was no warning. Then, at about 1:45 in the afternoon, the normal day ended. The sky grew dark very quickly. A strange, loud sound came from the mountain. Suddenly, the river became a monster. The peaceful afternoon turned into a scene of terror. People started to scream and run. They tried to find a safe place, but there was no time. The water, mud, and rocks arrived in seconds. The beautiful, peaceful village of Darali disappeared in a moment of fear and chaos. 3. Lost homes, lost people. The flood brought terrible sadness to the village. It was not just about the broken buildings, it was about lost people and broken families. Officials confirmed that at least 5 people died in the flood, but the true number is much bigger. Between 50 and 100 people are still missing. They disappeared into the fast-moving water and mud. 9 soldiers from a nearby army camp are also among the missing after their building was hit. The flood struck at a very sad time. Many people from the village were gathered together at the local temple for a religious festival. They were praying and celebrating. Suddenly, the wall of water came. There was no warning and no time to escape. People screamed and tried to run, but the water was too strong and too fast. In those few terrible minutes, many families were torn apart. Some members survived, but they could not find their loved ones. Now, these survivors wait for any news. They feel a deep sadness and worry all the time. This uncertainty is very difficult for them. People did not only lose their family and friends, they also lost their homes. The flood destroyed everything they owned. About 40 to 50 houses were completely washed away. Survivors watched their homes, with all their money and memories inside, disappear in seconds. That is what happened to the people of Darali. Their jobs are also gone. Most people in the village worked in tourism. They owned small hotels, guest houses, or shops. They worked hard for many years to build their businesses. The flood destroyed the main market and dozens of hotels. Now, the survivors have no home and no way to earn a living. For the families of the missing, the pain is deep. The search for their loved ones continues, but they know that some people may never be found. 4. Why did this happen? Many people asked the same question after the disaster. Why did this terrible flood happen? The answer is not simple. It was a mix of different things that happened at the same time. The main reason was a cloudburst. A cloudburst is not normal rain. It is a huge amount of rain that falls very quickly in a very small area. Imagine a giant bucket of water being poured from the sky all at once. The India Meteorological Department says a cloudburst is when more than 100 millimeters of rain falls in just 1 hour. On that day, the rain was extremely heavy, and it all came down in a very short time. This created too much water for the land to hold. The location of the village was also a big problem. Darali is in the high mountains of the Himalayas. The mountains there are very steep. When the heavy rain fell, the steep slopes acted like a slide for the water. The water could not stay on the mountains. Instead, it moved down very fast into the narrow valleys below. This fast-moving water picked up mud, rocks, and trees, making it even more powerful and dangerous. The time of year was also important. The flood happened during the monsoon season. The monsoon season in India, from June to September, is always a time of heavy rain. But the weather is changing. Many scientists believe that climate change is making the world warmer. This change is making the monsoon rains stronger and more difficult to predict. These big storms, like cloudbursts, are happening more often now. They are also more dangerous than in the past. So, the powerful cloudburst, the steep mountains, and the stronger monsoon rains all came together. These things created the flash flood that destroyed the village so quickly. It was a sad and deadly mix of nature and a changing climate. 5. A village washed away. The flood did not just take people. It destroyed the entire village of Darali. Before the disaster, Darali was a busy and beautiful place full of life. Now it is covered in thick mud, large rocks, and broken things. The wall of water was incredibly powerful. It washed away everything that stood in its path in just a few minutes. The destruction was terrible to see. According to official reports, about a dozen hotels disappeared into the angry water. These hotels were very important for the village's economy. They gave jobs to local people and provided comfortable rooms for many tourists. Now, only mud and stones mark the places where they once stood. Many small shops in the village are also gone. The main market was the heart of the community. It was a place to buy food, clothes, and talk with friends. The flood completely destroyed it. For many families, their shops and hotels were their life's work and all their savings. The water also destroyed people's houses. Reports say that between 40 and 50 homes were washed away completely. Families who lived in Darali for generations lost everything. They now have no place to live and no personal things left. The flood also cut Darali off from the rest of the world. The main road that connected the village to other towns is gone. Important bridges that crossed the river were broken and washed away. This means no cars or trucks can get into the village. It is very difficult for rescue teams to bring help and supplies. Communication stopped working. Phone lines and internet connections are broken. People cannot call their families to tell them they are safe. They cannot get news from outside. The power lines were also destroyed, so the village is in complete darkness at night. The water pipes are broken too, so there is no clean water to drink. Darali is now isolated and alone, a quiet and broken place. 6. The rescue teams arrive. Help came to Darali very quickly. Just 10 minutes after the flood, the Indian Army sent 150 soldiers to the village. Soon, another special team arrived. This was the National Disaster Response Force, or NDRF. These teams are experts at helping people in disasters. The rescue work was very difficult. The main road to Darali was gone, washed away by the water. This was a big problem. It meant that heavy machines to move the mud and rocks could not reach the village. The weather was also very bad. It continued to rain, which made the ground unstable and dangerous. The rescue teams worried about more landslides. To find survivors, the teams used special equipment. They used drones, which are like small flying cameras. The drones flew over the village and showed pictures of the destruction from above. This helped the teams to understand the situation better. They also brought special tracker dogs. These dogs have a very good sense of smell and can find people who are trapped under mud and broken buildings. The rescuers worked without stopping. They carefully searched through the debris of homes and hotels, hoping to find people alive. They saved about 20 people from the destroyed village, but many more people were still missing. Government leaders like Prime Minister Narendra Modi promised to do everything possible to help the people of Darali. The rescue operation was a race against time, with brave people working in very dangerous conditions to save lives. 7. Not the first time. The terrible flood in Darali was a shock, but it was not a new kind of problem for this part of India. The Himalayan mountains in Uttarakhand have seen other disasters like this before. This shows a sad pattern of similar events. In 2013, a very bad flood happened in a place called Kedarnath. Very heavy rain caused a huge flood, and more than 4,000 people died. It was one of the worst natural disasters in the country's history. Then, in 2021, another disaster happened in Chamoli. A large piece of ice from a mountain, called a glacier, broke and fell into a river. This created a powerful wall of water and rock that destroyed villages and killed more than 200 people. These events show that the mountains can be a dangerous place. A big reason these disasters are so bad is because of how people build things. In many mountain towns like Darali, people built too many hotels, shops, and houses. They often built them very close to the rivers. This is a very dangerous place to build. When a flood comes, these buildings are the first to be destroyed. The buildings are in the water's path. They can also block the water and make the flood even bigger and more powerful. This makes the disaster much worse for everyone. The problem is that people did not learn from the past disasters. They continued to build in unsafe areas near the rivers. Because of this, when the cloudburst happened over Darali, the village was not safe. The new buildings, meant to bring more tourists and money, helped to make the disaster much worse, just like in other places before. 8. A lesson for the future. The terrible disaster in Darali must teach us important lessons for the future. It clearly showed that we need to change how we live and build in mountain areas. If we do not learn from what happened, a similar tragedy could easily happen again in another village. We must use this sad event to make things better for other communities. One of the most important lessons is about where we build our homes and businesses. Many of the hotels and shops in Darali were built too close to the river. This put them directly in the path of the floodwater. For the future, all building in the mountains must follow very strict rules. Governments need to create these safety rules and make sure everyone follows them. It is not safe to build in dangerous areas, even if the view is beautiful for tourists. The safety of people must always come first. Another key lesson is the need for better and faster warning systems. The people of Darali had almost no warning before the wall of water came. A good system could tell people about the danger early. This would give families enough time to escape to a safer place, like on higher ground. These systems need modern equipment to watch the weather and rivers all the time. Also, communities need regular training to know exactly what to do when they get a warning. Tourism brought money to Darali, but the development was not always safe. The desire for more hotels and shops led to a lot of construction in risky places. This is a common problem in many parts of the Himalayas. We must find a better balance between making money from tourism and protecting the environment and people. All new development has to be planned very carefully. It should not damage the natural defenses of the mountains, like forests, which help to slow down and absorb floodwater. The Darali flood was not just a natural disaster. It was a clear warning. It happened because of a deadly mix of extreme weather and unsafe human actions. We must remember the people who lost their lives, their families, and their homes. Their memory should be a powerful reason for real change. We cannot continue to make the same mistakes. By creating stronger building rules, better warning systems, and safer plans for development, we can protect other mountain communities from a similar disaster. We have a responsibility to learn from this tragedy and build a safer future for everyone living in the mountains. What do you think is the most important lesson from the Darali flood?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.